Hello, everyone. Tony the Last Dragon here, and welcome back to the Edge of the Coin. So, I want to talk about, I kind of want to follow up with what I was talking, slightly with what I was talking about last time. The deportation that's going on and whatnot and everything. But there also is something else I want to touch on. Something else that's going on right now. So after it's been a couple of years now, and the supposed war between Israel and Gaza, that's basically done. It's all said and done. It's what's whatever at this point, for real. But now Israel is at war, or whatever the case may be, with Iran. Apparently they got nuclear whatever, whatnot. Okay. Truthfully, I feel like before I really get up deep off into it, I just feel like just leave these people alone. If they ain't doing nothing to you, just leave them alone. I don't really get it. But that's not how it goes. So, like I said when I was starting off, the current president, he got police, military, ICE, they all out here, swooping through and are rounding up illegal immigrants and whatnot, and he's catching a whole lot of heat behind that. Can't imagine why, but hey, but like I was saying, on the other end, this whole Israel-Iran thing, I feel it only coincides simply because the president decided to get involved in that. And I feel that both the president of the United States and I believe he's the prime minister or whoever he is of Israel by the name of Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah. So a little tidbit that I want to throw out before I give my real take on this all is a couple years ago, when the whole Israel-Gaza, little scuffle happened. What was interesting, it was that about a month or so before it even jumped off, if I'm not mistaken, Benjamin Netanyahu and his whole little circle of, government officials, whatever the case may be, they were about to get tried for some serious stuff. That's a fact. They were in court. They were about to go to court over some serious stuff. Like, I believe it was like taking bribes and all type of other stuff, nefarious things and whatnot. And then the war on Gaza happened, and all of a sudden he was some type of patron saint or something like that. And it just almost was like, it was all forgotten that he was literally in trouble with the actual government itself. Him and his whole little cabinet or whatever, they was in trouble. Then all of a sudden this war pop off, everybody done seem to forgot. Well, here we are, we bumped down 2 years later, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about 2 years later. Yeah, here we are again. If I'm not mistaken, he was about to get hung out to dry again, and boom, they attack another country. And that's really like crazy that not many people are drawing this little correlation of like every time this man gets in trouble with court, like he's about to possibly see some jail time, he's attacking the country. You know, and the only reason why I even looking at it, it was brought to my attention by the new black media. And it was amazing because I'm like, wow, why did our president of the United States, why did he decide to jump in this? Well, like I said, he was catching heat right here in the middle, in the middle of the country. We all seeing everything happen. Illegals, getting rounded up. Ain't nobody, I've seen farmers now, they burning up their fields and whatnot. And because, they can't harvest properly because things are dying. There's nobody there. The people they hire, they're not staying. They're literally like having to like just like, and some are like just within the span of these couple of weeks, they're saying that they're gonna have to like possibly sell their farms and stuff like that. And I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. That's real crazy. That quiet as kept, America was still running on slave labor. Still was. Call it what you want. I mean, hey, at least these people was getting paid. I can say that. At least they was getting paid for their services, pennies as it was. So, I believe that's really why America has jumped into this little scuffle that Israel and Iran is happening, because they're all talking about, oh, they have nuclear, whatnot, and this, and it's like, okay, who don't? It's the modern age. Why are you still policing people seeking either sources of energy to use for common purpose, or better yet, develops weapons against somebody who would decide to attack them? I'm like, why are you trying to police that? Oh, because, well, they can attack us, and they won't have a reason to attack you if you leave them alone. That's really all I wanted to just say about this. I know it just really sucks that when I take a step back and look at it, we're sending soldiers across the sea to, we're sending our soldiers all the way to the other side of the world, basically to die, because two nefarious people are trying to get eyes off of them. And people are losing their lives behind that. That doesn't sit well with me. Not at all. But hey, it's just always, like always, it's just my opinion. It's just what I'm taking note of as I'm observing what's going on and taking it in as it happens. That's all I'm doing. And I'm just saying what I see. Just simply saying what I see. And I don't like what I see. I don't. Not at all. You know, one of the new voices of black media said something in regards to how this really correlates with, you know, black Americans. And the point and the fact was, well, as far as what's going on over there, as far as what's going on with, you know, immigration, it doesn't really have anything to do with us. None of it does. I name me one time Israel has championed or said something about the atrocities that black Americans are subjected to every day. When I see that, maybe I'll start supporting them. Maybe. But on the other hand, also, when has Iran stuck its neck out to say something positive about black people, or talked about the atrocities that happened to us? I'll wait. Let me know. Immigration? Well, we were brought here. Ancestors were brought here. And I love when people say your ancestors were, I say they were brought. My ancestors were brought. We didn't come here willingly. We didn't escape anything. We were brought here, not of our own volition. And we've been here for generations. We are not immigrants at all. The sad part about it is, especially those of, you know, Latin descent or whatnot, are so hung up on why we're not out there marching, but I don't hear them calling upon anybody else, asking where anybody else is. Why is it so pivotal that everybody got to ask where we at? We're minding our own business. This ain't got nothing to, that part ain't got nothing to do with us. We're not the ones trying to kick y'all out. Hell, in fact, for years, we had been championing y'all being over here. But through years of proven racism, bigotry, they don't like that the shoe is on the other foot now. Yeah, I'm going to close it out with this. You know, everything that's going on, you know, like I said, immigration, war overseas, whatever the case may be, us black folks ain't got no dog in this fight at all. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We ain't got no dog in this fight. So if you wonder why we sitting down, why we ain't saying nothing, whatnot, why when there's nothing for us to say or do? There isn't. The only thing we need to do is what we've been doing right now. Sitting down and shutting up. That's funny. That's what they had been telling us to do all this time. Whenever we said something about black folks or whatnot, we were told to just sit down and shut up. Well, now we're sitting down and shutting up like we were told, and everybody's mad. But it's all right. That's fine. You can go ahead and be mad. You can be big mad. It don't matter. Ain't gonna change. Ain't gonna change anything. All right, family. I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Tony the Last Dragon here. And you have been with me on the edge of the coin.